We're here. We are playing the music after the race in Music City. Ross Chastain gets on the board with a win in Nashville. His first win in, I believe, 42 races. Trackhouse gets a win in where they claim is their home. Not actually their home, but they claim it. So big home victory for Trackhouse. Justin Marks and his hair transplant. You look at him 5 years ago, you look at him now, something doesn't add up.
You got that Joey Logano treatment.
Yeah,
he pulls it off better.
Joey,
I can't lie. Joey looks a whole lot better with it now. I'll give Joey that. If I was in Joey's position with the money, I would absolutely fucking buy my hair too.
Yeah, sure. We've got a good evening, guys, from Spencer. Good evening, my friend. Let's talk about Nashville. NBC is back. They broadcasted this race. It was their first of the season. I think it was a breath of fresh air. It was much better than Fox. And I gave Fox credit and kind of preferred them probably longer than a lot of other people did. But at this point, it's just so clear that NBC is better. And I really think the turn for NBC was probably when Dale Jr. joined. And that's when Fox was beginning to start to go, or their downhill is becoming pretty evident, and Dale Jr. has brought NBC's coverage up. First off, what are our thoughts on the broadcast? Did we enjoy it? Did we? I think we all think it's better, right?
What little I saw, yeah. I do like the Dale Jr., Jeff Burton down after on pit road. I hope that's an every weekend thing. I don't know if it will be because I think it gets hard to get back up to the booth depending on what side it's on the track, but it's different.
Definitely.
Yeah, the energy was definitely brought. I heard people since practice saying that in the, what do they have now, like hour and a half coverage for practice and quali?
Yeah.
That there was already, like, they had cleared Fox, and I didn't get to watch any of that, but from the races that I did watch, you could definitely tell that they definitely brought the energy that was lacking from Fox.
Or guaranteed 30 minutes of post-race coverage.
That was so good. We had like an hour post-race. It felt like the old days. Like I felt like a kid again watching that, like a night race, I
will say this. NBC got a lot of slack for not having the pre-race, but the race did get moved up 30 minutes. Like, people were, all your Karens and your little redneck Johns are on Facebook saying, where was the national anthem? Non-American NBC. I'm like, y'all are so fucking dumb. Y'all have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have the tools to know why it wasn't there, and y'all just choose not to go look for it.
And Fox might have the privilege to flex their pre-race to earlier because of, let's say, a race starts at 3, they move it up to 2. Fox has the space at 1 because usually they're just doing paid programming then. Yes. NBC was coming straight from the nightly news into NASCAR. They can't cut off the nightly news.
No.
So that's important for them. But I thought maybe they could have done something on USA, like Law and Order SVU.
Well, it was also a late call from NASCAR.
No, I know that.
They waited a really long time.
They did. I thought that in the first place, though, 30-minute pre-race for their first race of the year seemed like it was a little short anyway.
Well, it's a very tight window because of the NBC nightly news, and then.
Well, I think they could have started on USA, maybe like start something at 6,
or even on
Peacock.
An
hour.
I don't think you want people swapping. Yeah. The Peacock maybe, but you don't want people swapping from one channel to the next because they're going to bitch anyway. Either way, they're bitching. Peacock, yeah, maybe, but I just don't think they had enough. I don't think they had enough time to prepare for that. So
no, it's definitely. I don't have that's not a complaint for me, but.
In my opinion, the national anthem stuff, NASCAR could have waited on till NBC got on air, and apparently they didn't. So,
yeah. Well, anyway, I think the broadcast was a big thumbs up for me. I thought it was so much better. And they actually, we were all pretty informed NASCAR fans, I'd say, but NBC still finds a way to like say something. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, So that's always cool that they are able to do that. And they all really feel like they fit in their roles really well. Steve Letarte does a phenomenal job in his role. Dale Jr. brings the energy, is the big name. He brings the excitement. And I feel like Jeff Burton does a really, really good job
of analyzing,
describing battles,
yes,
and telling you what's going on. That's what Jeff Burton is really, really good at. And I wasn't a big Jeff Burton fan for a while, but I feel like, with crazy to say this, this is like his 9th broadcasting season now, which when
NBC took over,
that
took it back.
That makes me feel really old, to be honest. But I think that he does a really good job of analyzing battles and telling you what's going on with the air, and like, for example, how Chastain was manipulating the air on Truex, kind of like how he did the Logano and Harvick battle at Kansas in 2020. But I was really impressed with their broadcast. And then Rick Allen he's whatever.
He's a part of the deal, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Rick did a really good job at analyzing when Truex was trying to get Ross Chastain there. Get out the way.
I have the clip.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Here's the whole clip of him saying it.
You know that frustrated feeling you get when you're on the interstate in the left lane and the guy doesn't get over for you? Well, right now, Ross Chastain has said, get out of the way. I've got people behind me. Ross Chastain.
Somebody ought to make a fucking meme or a gif of him like hanging out the window with him with that clip imposed over it.
Get out of the way. NBC definitely brings some memes for our group, which is always good. That's a pretty good hit already from Rick. That's going to be one that lasts and has some good run with us. Let's talk about Ross Chastain. His first win since Talladega in the spring last year. First win for Trackhouse this season. Actually, first win for Trackhouse in over a year. In where they claim is their home track. What are our thoughts on Chastain? I feel like he kind of heard him say it in the post-race. He had kind of doubted himself the last few weeks after having some conversations about his over-aggressiveness. And I think Kyle Petty said it really well. He drove a pretty smart race there. And that seems like
he was in the front the whole time.
Yeah, but I felt like he was making the right move. He was making all the right moves. And we don't always see that with Chastain, So what are our thoughts on Chastain picking up win number 1 of the season? Do you think that's going to turn the tide for him and maybe he can go on a little run here?
No, I still think Trackhouse is mid right now.
Whoa.
They seem to have their races, like even Suarez has shown some promise, and they finally just put one together. I still, unless he starts putting them off, to change my mind, I don't think they're the championship favorites. I still don't think he's in the talks right now for being a championship contender. And it's just not him, it's the whole team. It's definitely Suarez too, so.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's definitely become one of those people where they're going to win. It's just a matter of when. So, I mean, I think this is probably one. Maybe you get another one somewhere down the road. I don't think he carries this momentum. I feel like what we'll see now is he feels like he's proved himself to who he needs to prove.
We're going to go back to the ways.
We're going to go back to talking about him every week, not because he's winning, but because he's causing some kind of run-in.
Right. I kind of disagree. I feel like that this could be a big turning point for him and Trackhouse this season. 3rd in points right now. Got that win at Nashville, which is a track, like, I hate to say it, but first true oval win for Chastain and Trackhouse, to be honest, because you think Trackhouse wins last year, Talladega, Coda, and Sonoma. So their first real true oval win. And I really think that if Chastain can limit the incidents and drive as smart as I thought he drove Sunday night, I think that could be a dangerous, dangerous threat. because he is going to win races, I think, consistently with this team for the foreseeable future, especially considering that they're probably going to have some more money coming into the team, even more than they already have.
I ain't heard much more about that.
There's an article that came out like last week that said that after the Barry
announcement, they're not repeating.
Well, Adam Stern reported like after the Barry announcement that Trackhouse is still the favorite to land.
And then even after Chastain won, didn't
they drank Busch Light in Victory Lane? By the way,
was I the only one who thought they were pushing the hell out of that?
I tweeted it out, so like I saw it.
Like they made sure in every camera angle they had in Victory Lane, someone was flashing a Busch Light there.
Yeah. Tegan is not happy.
I don't see Ross Chastain being the face of Busch. I don't think it lasts. I think he's gonna be one that's gonna drink a Busch Light and go like that.
He took some pretty good shots in Victory Lane.
They're gonna make a watermelon flavor.
That doesn't mean it's probably got water in it. I'm pretty sure.
No, they're gonna make a watermelon flavor. Just get ready for it.
That sounds like it could slap, honestly.
That's the only reason why they're gonna do it.
I bet the peach one's pretty good. I like peach. The peach Harvick cart was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that. I'm not sure what's going on with Tegan over here. He looks like he's experiencing some sort of difficulty. We have lost Tegan for a minute here. Sal, what do you got there? You got a Bud Light football speaker. Look at that. How about that?
It's really confusing me that everything is backwards right now. But yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely interesting. Maybe it can be a Busch Light for Chastain next year.
No.
So you seriously don't think that he's a championship threat?
I don't think so. I think right now we're like that meme that goes around when things happen, like, oh, you forget about it. This is where you're at. And then next week you're causing some kind of issue again.
If there is a track where he has the chance to do something stupid, the Chicago street course definitely could be it. You know.
I mean, not discrediting him at all. Like he's really talented when he puts together a smart race,
which he did.
Which you could probably count on your hand how many races you think back where he didn't have his incident, and you're like, hey, Ross Chastain ran really well and got a top 5, got a win.
Like this might be the only one, to be honest. Every time he runs well, something's going on. But yeah, so now that Tegan's gone, I don't know what's going on with him, but we can have our little Chase Elliott conversation. Pretty good, I thought.
This was the best race that 9 team has put together since
by far, I'd say.
Probably the entire season so far. They did okay at Auto Club. They had some good pit call at Richmond. Yep. But
the Richmond was a lucky P2.
Yeah, but Barry. Like full on from practice to the race, this was the perfect weekend that they needed.
Exactly, and now down to like 65 points out, so that's actually not crazy.
I mean, how many races do we have left?
9.
It's definitely doable. Like I know I said this after he came back from the suspension.
I was out on the points.
Yeah, I thought if with coming back from the suspension, I thought if it was able to stay under 100, he could still point his way. And I think the difference only was like 2 to 3 points. He was like 97, 98 back. And even then I still thought points was possible because every little point matters. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what this weekend holds.
Yeah, and they've said, him and Alan have said some things that I agree with, that in the aspect of if they want to be in the playoffs and they want to have a chance, they do need to win. Because if he's going in the playoffs if he doesn't win and just points his way in and doesn't win another stage, he's going in with 1 playoff point.
Yeah.
So that's a hill to climb.
I thought about that because, at first I was like, okay, the important thing is making it. But, after hearing the interviews that they gave this weekend where they said we can point our way in, it's just a matter, like, we need to win. I can fully see where they're coming from that, because I mean, you're right. If you're not winning in the playoffs with this system that we have right now, you shouldn't even show up because you'll be a first round exit.
Exactly. I really think that this is going to be a good stretch for them.
Oh yeah.
You have Chicago this week, which who knows, but historically, in recent years, Chase Elliott has been very good on new road courses.
Mm-hmm.
First time there, Chase Elliott's usually the best. Now I do think the road course field has tightened a bit. Trackhouse being good, Reddick. Seems like Toyota has it figured out this year. William Byron kind of 50-50 on if he's going to be like the best car or if he's going to be like 10th at road courses. Mm-hmm. Larson will be in contention. But I don't think he'll win this week, but I do think that team is heading in the direction of a win.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after he met Livy.
Oh, the dude got rizzed up, and he is on a tear now.
Chase Elliott, Riz King. Where do you think he wins? Watkins?
I could see Watkins, depending what kind of setup and with how strong he was last year, even though it's not like historically one of his best tracks, Loudon could be one that he sneaks at.
Bro, I would go crazy if he won at Loudon. With me there, close personal friend of Chase Elliott.
You had a conversation with him, didn't you?
I did, about yellow numbers. Him and I are buddies, man. And he could win Atlanta. I mean, defending winner of that summer Atlanta race. Indy Roval, he had a chance at last year. He wasn't as good as Reddick, but got shipped in a late restart. What else is there? I feel like those were probably his chances to win. There's another track that I feel like I'm kind of
Pocono is in there. He ran okay there.
Defending winner at Pocono last year.
Yeah.
Which is weird that he won it. Like, I know it's not like legit totally, but the races left before the playoffs are Chicago, Atlanta, New Hampshire, which I think he has all the chances to win at. Then you go Pocono, Richmond. I don't think so. And you have Michigan, which for Chase Elliott was his best track in his first 2 years, and then has not done nearly as well since.
He hasn't done anything ever since.
Which is odd. And then you have the Indy Roval, Watkins Glen, which are two chances. Then, of course, Daytona, which is pretty good. So, yeah, that's really all about Chase Elliott that we can talk about. Toyotas were good. Truex, excuse me, seems like he's really found his form again. Yeah. There goes Tegan. He's gone. We've completely lost Tegan. Now it's just Sally and I. I don't know where he went. I'll have to text him, but
he pulled a Ryan.
He really that is a Ryan actually. I'm gonna text him right now. Let's find out where the fuck he went.
I was about to grab my phone and realize that I am on my phone.
Good work there, champ. Yeah, Truex seems like he's really found his form again. I mean, we'll look better. Hold on. Is this better? Do we like this?
I can buy.
For the two of us, it looks better.
Yeah.
But when it becomes 3, it gets like cramped.
Yeah, you get too long.
Whenever he comes back, we'll revert back to the like rectangular format. You know that this is what Kenny Wallace uses for his podcast on YouTube? Have you seen those? The Kenny conversation?
I've seen him pop out like lately on my recommendations. I haven't been able to watch
this is what Kenny Wallace uses. He uses this platform that we use. Good for him, like, right? Kenny Wallace was riding the CFRL wave.
He saw one of our episodes, and that's what
he might have actually. Shout out Kenny Wallace, man, we love you. NASCAR Thunder or NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 Lightning Challenge legend Kenny Wallace. What are your thoughts on Truex, though? I mean, I feel like he's really seeming to be like classic Truex in this later arc of his career where it's actually been his prime. I feel like he's right back to usual Truex.
I mean, if he is, this is a dangerous Truex to get, because I mean, if you get like dominating, full on, like completely focused Truex the way he was in 17 and when else was it, like a little bit of 16, 18.
I mean, honestly, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, you can say, really.
Like this is a dangerous team to get hot, and when they know they can win, they're going to absolutely put an ass kicking on the field.
Yeah. They win boring races.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing with Martin Truex Jr. is every race that he wins is seemingly quite boring.
When you get your ass kicked, you get your ass kicked.
Exactly, right? But he finished second. Good run for Truex. Retains the points lead. Do we think he's the regular season champion?
I still think him or Byron.
Yeah. I feel like Byron has just been so rock solid. Like, he's always running really good.
Even when he has like a quiet day, he's quietly
it's like
top
sixth.
7, top 5.
Yeah. The speed that they have is really, really impressive. So we'll see what happens with the regular season championship battle. Byron finished 6th, right?
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So he kind of lost ground. He was running like 3rd, 4th, kind of was falling back like a spot each stage, it seemed like. Kyle Larson had a really impressive rally. I mean, they looked not much better than the 48, who was not very good. And he found a way to finish 5th, I believe. So that was an impressive
Yeah, it makes
run
me
for
wonder
Larson.
what Bowman could have done, honestly, if they were kind of running around the same. I think Bowman probably could have snuck in like a quiet top 10, low top 10 around there.
I just don't know what's going on with that, with the 48. It just seems way, way off.
I feel like that's how it's always been, though. Like,
but
your top 3 and then Bowman.
But earlier this year, it wasn't like Bowman was,
like we were talking about him having his best, like what could be his best season.
And now it could be his first
Just
season not making
season.
the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I think he's made it every year, right?
Yes.
Which people don't talk about. I think that's pretty impressive, honestly, in this day and age of
with the
format, and especially with how many competitive cars there are and how many competitive drivers. Him making the playoffs every year, I think, since he's been on Hendrick, is pretty impressive, I'd say. Because there were years where Byron wasn't making it. Or did Byron make it 2 every year? I mean, maybe not 18. I don't know. But Jimmy wasn't making it. See, like, this is bad. This is not good. Okay. Hi, Tegan. Welcome back.
Can you hear me pretty good?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my Bluetooth went out. Nothing's working on it, so I'll be doing this through the speakers, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we had no... You just disappeared.
We just lost Tegan Jones.
Yeah. But Sal and I, we talked about Chase Elliott for like 5 minutes. How about we ask your opinion? What do you think about Chase's race and his chance to make the playoffs now?
How many points is he at?
65.
How many races we got left?
9. Sal asked the same thing.
So I think he can do it on points. I don't think he has to win.
I'm actually, like, I was out on the points thing, but now I'm...
See, I've been saying that the whole damn time.
But the concern for me is the races that are upcoming. Because they're all pretty good for him. But there's also a good likelihood at multiple of them that you could finish poorly. You have Chicago. You have Indy Roval. You have Watkins Glen. I think he'll finish well at Watkins Glen. Indy Roval could be wacky. Chicago, we have no idea what to expect. And then Atlanta and Daytona are in there. So
I think if he's not got a winning car, he's going to run very conservative enough to get the points. And that's stage points and the race points at the end of the race. So I don't think 9 races, that's almost like 7 points a race. 8 points a race is all he's got to gain. He can do that in the stages alone, and then go from there. If you don't get in the stages, then you can be conservative in the race finish. But if you get it, if you overperform in the stages, maybe you can kind of go for it in the race, in the last stage. So I think he'd do it on points, unless them people at the bottom start running with him and getting the same amount of points where he can't gain, then he might have a problem. But
unless you have like surprise winners of some sort,
they're going to have to start winning. Because you got Harvick's 160 something points ahead, and that's even with a bad finish last week. So,
but you got, as I said, a set of tracks coming up that could produce surprise winners.
Yeah,
this week when we head to the Chicago Street Course, there is no indication of what's going to happen. We have no idea who's going to be strong. You kind of can assume, I guess, that the road course guys will still be strong.
I don't know. I don't think there's going to be no advantage for them because I don't think even iRacing and shit like that is going to prepare them for this. I think it's going to be a total shit show. It's going to come down to luck. It's going to be when NASCAR decides we're not doing no more overtime finishes because y'all motherfuckers can't get to the first turn. This is the end of it. If it ends under caution, it ends under caution. It's going to be whoever's lucky enough to be in the fucking lead when it happens.
My guess for this week is the Xfinity race is utter madness. And the Cup race is kind of boring.
Probably because the Cup drivers will be conservative and
I think Saturday could be one of the craziest races you'll ever see.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Especially since I think there might be weather on Saturday.
Oh, good. Let's throw rain tires on it, too.
I mean, there's no runoff at that track. So,
maybe not. Maybe not.
Weather conditions could be wild.
They could actually slow it down enough to make it competitive, to be honest.
Perhaps. But I feel like Saturday could be nuts. And I think that if Saturday is nuts, then the guys on Sunday will see, okay, we don't want to.
I think Sunday is going to be tame regardless because I think you got people like Kyle Busch, Truex, Harvick, Keselowski. They're going to ride around there and get a decent finish or just get a finish and get the fuck out. Get it over with. That's what I see. I would not be surprised if Harvick doesn't run 35th the whole time and find a way to go a lap down in the first stage. Because he just won't care. That's just the way I see Harvick doing. I don't think his teammates can afford that, but I think Harvick just wants a finish. I don't think he wants to tear up a car or a DNF. He just wants he wants to let everybody else get took out and him just take their positions is what I'm betting. That's what a lot of them probably going to do.
I don't think it's actually going to be I think it's kind of going to just be an underwhelming race. It's just there's not much passing opportunities. I think it'll depend.
I think it'll depend on what Saturday brings. Kind of how at Daytona, where if you have a crazy Xfinity race, you can expect a calm Sunday race.
Right.
But I think if the Xfinity guys, for whatever reason, if they don't cause madness and a half, I think if that's a calm race, then we're in for an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Just because those guys that you think will race smart, you got to think of the other people who are going to be oh, this is my chance to win, and do whatever they can to do it.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson, this is some sad news. Jimmy Johnson withdrew from the Chicago street race this weekend after reports came out this morning that his wife's mother-in-law shot her husband and their grandson and then committed suicide.
That's her parents. Jimmy's
that's why I said his mother-in-law, excuse me. It's Jimmy's wife's parents. It's a murder-suicide situation, and then their grandson was involved as well, who really, really tragically passed away. But it was not Jimmy's kid; it was Jimmy's nephew, I believe. And understandably, Jimmy is out for this week. That news is just that must be startling for his wife. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Jimmy for a while in the public. I mean, that's just such a earth-rattling piece of information for a family. Just really scary. thoughts from you guys about it.
It just sucks, and I'm not surprised he withdrew. I actually had forgotten he was entered in this race, and surprised he was actually. And yeah, I'm not surprised that. I mean, to withdraw from that race, I would have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, really sad. Like, the more, from what I've read about it, it's like, it's completely understandable.
Why he's withdrawing, yeah.
Yeah, why he's withdrawing. Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, because, I mean, imagine being, you know, his wife and finding out, you know, mom killed dad and your nephew is dead. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, I wouldn't even know what to
Begin processing.
It's just a really, really, really somber situation. And yeah, I would not be surprised if you don't see Jimmy Johnson in the public eye for a while, just because, you know, you got to be there for your wife, even though it might not be like, of course, it probably affected him because his kids have probably spent time there, and that probably scares the shit out of him, as it should. But I you know, just has to be there for his family. But just to get off of that topic, Tegan, we were talking about Martin Truex Jr. And do you feel like he's back to the old Truex? Not old Truex, but the Truex from, you know, 16 to 21 of just being probably a top 3 driver in the series?
I don't think he's the same Truex from 16 to 21. I think he's the same Truex from last year. He's just gotten wins this year from it.
And I would argue that the Truex from last year was not much of a different Truex than
no.
Truex.
I don't think he's as good as he was, like, to me, as Harvick and Kyle Busch and Joe Logano and Denny Hamlin was before this new car came out and before they'd done the, you know, parts freeze for COVID. And but now I do still think he's championship contender. I don't know about the favorite, but I think he's top 4, top 5 maybe. If he keeps it going, because I think last year when the playoffs started, I think he kind of fell off with a little bit of speed and some bad luck still. But as long as they don't get in bad luck and as long as Truex don't get in his own damn head, he's got a bad habit of constantly fucking being bitchy about the stupidest shit on the radio about other people around him. So he gets out of that, he might be all right this year. I still think we're going to see some surprises this year. I still think there's people sandbagging. I think people has figured out shit with this car that NASCAR hasn't, some advantages, and they're keeping it hid till the right time, just because they don't want NASCAR finding it and then taking it away.
Who do you think?
I think it's the one car. I think they used it this weekend to their advantage. I think the 4 car is finding shit and not using it because he had top 4 car.
Hoping.
Oh, I'm hoping, but I'm telling you, Harvick's better this year than what he was at this point last year. This point last year, he was falling from the top 10 or 16 points and had to win. Now he doesn't have to. He just has to make sure there isn't more than 16 winners, which I don't think.
I feel like we're seeing the best Harvick this year since 2020.
Exactly, and he's had a lot of. I mean, he's 60 points at the point lead. If you took all the bad luck and the wrecks that he was in that was not his doing, that it was either Chastain was a few of them, he'd probably be the point leader or right up there with whoever is leading the points. He would not be 61 behind. Like this week, he gave up 20 points this week, at least 20 points, and a damaged car. When you drag your back end across the track for a whole damn lap with a flat tire, your car's fucked for the rest of the race, even though you got it to pit road with that, you know, showing visible damage. So if you take that bad luck away, Harvick's probably had one of the best years since 2020. He'd be up there point lead.
I'd say it's his best since 2020 because 2021 was solid, didn't get the win.
But he still got 5th in points. Pretty solid.
Because but he hadn't ran well. He hadn't ran exceptionally well until the playoffs, and he ran really well throughout the playoffs that year. 2022 was kind of an odd year for that team.
A lot of bad luck.
Yeah,
and crappy gas parts.
I didn't feel like he showed the speed like that he had in years past. until he, won 2 in a row, and then everybody's like, "Oh, we kind of forgot that he was this good," and that's what the media was. And I was like, "It'd be pretty silly to forget that because
I mean, that's what Jeff Burton basically said. Told everybody, he said, "Y'all are stupid if y'all forget about this dude."
His run in SHR is genuinely top 10 NASCAR all time runs with a driver team combo. If you think about it, with not just the one championship and the probably 40 wins, right? More 45 maybe.
He had 25 when he left RCR, and he's at 60.
So 35.
35, yeah.
I think with 35 wins, how many points championships would have had in that SHR run? At least 3. 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2020 probably.
I think he would have had 4 or 5 because there was a couple years he would have had 2 in a row. There was one stretch in there he had 2 in a row.
I think 15, 16 probably.
15, 16, yeah. And then
it would have been Truex 17.
And you got to remember, he would have had 2010 before he left RCR too.
Yeah. So. The NASCAR world, if there was a point season format, would be so much different today.
Jimmy Johnson would not be being called the GOAT.
No, Jimmy Johnson would be probably, I think, a 3-time champion.
Yeah.
I think he would have won 06, 09, and 2013.
Yeah.
Because 2007 would have been won by
Edwards,
Gordon.
I think would have 1 or 2.
Edwards would have had 08 and 11.
Yeah.
And the 2010 one would have been Harvick, and then 16 would have been Harvick as well. So that's just an odd landscape. But yeah, the run that Harvick with SHR has gone on is just so impressive. I mean, it is catapulted Kevin Harvick into, my opinion, top 10 driver of all time, and one of the best runs driver team combo of all time. I mean, you have to think Gordon, Hendrick, Johnson, Hendrick, Dale, RCR, Petty, and his buddies with Nitro. And maybe Kyle Busch, Joe Gibbs, and Kevin Harvick and SHR is right there. It's could creep on the top 5, definitely in the top 10 of the driver team combo all time. What he has done is so impressive. And to think, RCR was good for a stretch of years there. In his time there, they were good.
They would find years where they really outdid their previous year.
Yeah,
2006, 2003, 2010,
2001 probably too.
2001 maybe, but they were still kind of riding the high of
Earnhardt,
losing Earnhardt, and they were also still had the Earnhardt setups, and that's when NASCAR was going through a transition. If you go back and look at the shit, RCR was actually going downhill before Earnhart died.
Yeah.
Earnhardt only won 1 race, 2 races in 2000.
But he was second in points that year.
Yeah, but by 350 something points. I mean, he lost it by a pretty good margin because Bobby Labonte was just fucking consistent all year. That's what I'm saying. And the year before that, he only won, I think, 1 race, and then won 1 race in '98. So they were starting to go downhill because the engineering side was starting to come up in NASCAR at that time. And RCR was one of the last teams that got on board with it. And that kind of showed up in 2002. That was a shit year for RCR as a whole.
Definitely.
All 3 of their drivers were 20th or worse in points. So
yeah, I'd say they had a good run. Not as good as quality as SHR was in Harvick's years, but I'd say 2006 to 2000. I'd say 2006 to 2010, excluding 2009.
7 wasn't that good either. All he had was a 500 win and an All-Star race.
I'm not saying Harvick though that year. Just
RCR in general.
RCR, because you had Jeff Burton. He won at Texas. Clint Boyer finished 3rd in the championship that year. So they had 3 in the 3-car team having 3 in the chase. Yeah. I look at that as a pretty good year. Harvick had the All-Star race that year also, in that beautiful Pennzoil Platinum car. That's one of my favorites ever. That scheme. The nice silver with the yellow number, just so nice. Then 2008, Jeff Burton, I think, won a couple races. Harvick went winless. Boyer
still
won
top 5 in points.
Yeah, Boyer
I
won.
think had the most top fives of the year too.
That would make sense.
That was another 2020 or 2021 season. No wins, but just constant consistency.
Yeah. And then 2009 was bad. Did any of them make the playoffs? 2009, Burton maybe.
Maybe.
I know Harvick and Boyer did not.
I thought they did. I just thought they just didn't do good.
I did
Once it started, like they were just basically wasted space. You got to remember that year Harvick was also trying to get out of his contract and go to Stewart-Haas the next year, and it didn't work out.
Okay, so we're gonna go down this rabbit hole here of we're talking about old NASCAR, which is I live for. But we're gonna check out the 2009 NASCAR Cup Series Wikipedia. What a fucking Chad. Bro, those sunglasses are so 2007. Jeff looks awesome. Jeff looks so happy, and then Jimmy is an asshole. I hated Jimmy at this time. Like, oh my God, because he was just being so pesky to Jeff Gordon. I hated it. I grew to actually really like Jimmy later in his career, but oh my God, was that annoying. Because he took so many championships from Jeff. Can we just get the standings?
Go to results and standings right there.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, maybe he didn't. No, he didn't.
None of them made it.
Yeah.
Boyer 15th, Burton 17th, Harvick 19th. Great middle name on Kev.
And Casey Mears, because I'm not mistaken.
Casey Mears was the 07 then?
Maybe, I don't know. Was Clint Boyer in the 33?
I think so. I think 08 was his last year on the 07. They moved him to the 33, Casey Mears to the 07. This point standings is so odd that this season. You have Junior 25th. That's when it was the really dark junior time.
Oh, yeah.
You have McMurray, I think, still at Roush there in 22nd. Truex still at DEI, 23rd. Then you have Harvick 19th behind Marcus Ambrose, which is really odd. Burton 17th, Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer missing the playoffs. And then you have Brian Vickers and Juan Pablo Montoya in the playoffs. Like, what an odd season. But then let's get to the top here. You get to 2010, and then let's see what the difference for them is. It looks like all three of them are there, So that's a big, because that's when I think they had gotten rid of the 07. And then it was Harvick in third here, Clint Boyer in 10th, and Jeff Burton in 12th. Because Jeff Burton wanted to be a dumbass at Texas that year. So that happened. Sal, what was it like being a junior fan during this time?
It was so bad.
I bet.
Oh,
bro got cooked by David Rudiman back-to-back years. That's an unbelievably poor thing to say.
That was so bad.
And bro, David Rudiman was winning races in those 2 years. David Rudiman won twice. Let's check David Rudiman out. What the? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Why did they do that? Why did they do that to him? Is he's alive? Oh man. David. How old is he? 53? Wow.
You could still ride around in a stock car. Throw him in one of the Xfinity cars.
Bro, they didn't give him any fanfare. The 2014 Toyota Owners 400 should have been an absolute fucking blast with celebrating David Rudiman's last race. Got a P29 there too, so good day for old Rudy. I mean, look at him here. Not a bad 2 years for David Rudiman owning Dale Earnhardt Jr. Sorry. But yeah, good for David Rudiman. Any other old NASCAR seasons we want to look at here? What 2011? They probably only Harvick made it then, right?
Yeah. He won a lot of races that year.
He won one on some shady terms. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Richmond?
Yes.
Yeah.
The spin gate before the actual spin gate. Let's read about it. See? Well, Jeff Gordon took the lead from Kevin Harvick, and then whoop-de-doo, how caution comes out. How convenient. My heart was broken. I wanted to see Jeff Gordon win. What does it say? Jeff Gordon had a reasonable chance to win the race between laps 378 and 384. What does this mean? Despite Paul Menard's awful finish, he was the last driver to finish the race without any mechanical issues. What does that mean?
Means he finished bad, but that had mechanical issues to blame for it.
Wow, I'm confused. Why does it say Juan Pablo Montoya's 15th place finish and Marcus Ambrose's 21st place finish were respectable finishes for the token foreigners in the NASCAR Cup Series? Who wrote that? Wait, according to the gambling pundits, Kyle Busch was the most likely to win prior to the checkered flag, while Ambrose, Regan Smith, and Bobby Labonte were the three dark horses of the event. What the fuck? Bobby Labonte was not pulling out a win at Richmond in the JTG Doherty 47 car. Are you serious? Oh, by the way, David Rudman was on pole. Him. He's him. Root of him. Miss you, Jeff. All right. Bro, David Rudiman, man. I cannot believe what we just learned about him. Look at this. Bro, I thought that guy was dead or something. Now it's time for picks. So we're going right back to sharing the screen again.
Search history.
Nope. Sal, you didn't win. Bradley, you won again.
Yeah.
That figures.
Maybe it's my turn to win.
So Bradley takes the lead of the whole shebang. So JB picked BJ McLeod. I'm just going to give him Josh Bilicki because BJ McLeod didn't race. So just gave him whoever raced 78 car. Who was last out of that group? So we get to pick first.
Josh Bilicki.
That's probably true. I go to street circuit. I assume Bilicki was last for that group. Tegan, you picked Chase Elliott. That was a sneaky good pick.
Hey, a lot of good at Demi. Fucking is another wasted pick.
Trust me, that's what my season's been. I've literally got one win, and it was Cush Busch at Coda.
I got one with your an actual win. That's the only thing that's got me above you.
That's actually too bad. First pick, JB. He's picking Ross Chastain.
$1 late and a day short.
This could be a good track for him. Could be fucking utter chaos. Next up is nobody picked. Is it Bowman? Yeah, it's Bowman, I think. Yeah. Who had Bowman? Sal. Sal, you picking?
Can I see my list of people I've taken?
Yeah, I just have to. It's not updated for last week, but here it is.
What row is he?
This one.
Go up. I hope I haven't taken him yet.
Priest?
No.
Take off.
I did.
He'd be the toe that would fucking run through the field and win it.
Who are you looking for?
Cindric. But I've already taken him. Where the hell did I use that guy?
Do you want to find out?
Probably another road course.
You use Cindric at Sonoma.
Oh, that was a waste.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Give me Michael McDowell.
Okay, Mickey D. All right. That's how we're going to refer to him now. Mick McDowell.
Mickey D.
Mick McDowell. So next up would be, is it me, Bubba Wallace? Did he finish behind those other people? I think so.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm torn here. There's one guy I want to pick. I'm leaning maybe AJ. He has street course experience. I'm also thinking maybe Shane Van Gisbergen could be a fun one. No, I'm serious. I think that guy could do pretty well.
I don't know, Jim.
I'm gonna go a little wacky and wild here. Give me Daniel Suarez.
What race is oh shit. What race is the third 2311 car racing in?
I think this week. I'm pretty sure, right?
I looked at the entry list. I didn't see it. I know the 91 has no driver announced yet.
Yeah, it's Shane Van Gisbergen.
Oh, is it? Well, they didn't update the entry list.
Let's find out. He'll be racing at Indy. Not this one. But Kamui Kobayashi will be racing for 2311 at Indy. But I think Shane Van Gisbergen would actually be a pretty good pick this week. That guy's got a lot of street circuit experience. I believe he races Australian V8 supercars, which translate actually very similarly to the NASCAR Cup car. Next up is who picked Kush Bush Matty via Ryan. Don't have a pick from him, so he's getting skipped. Really B. He's not here, so he's getting skipped. Tegan, you're up.
Give me Mr. Button.
Is he racing?
Yes, he is.
All right, Jensen Button off the board.
Go!
Let's go. All right, nice.
I ain't wasting a good fucking pick. Or a name driver.
That might be a good pick.
I think that's a good pick, but I'm not wasting a name driver, so.
At least picking AJ Allmendinger. We got an interesting battle. We'll find out who Wessel and Maddie pick whenever we do. I don't know. Harris asked, what's this? So basically, since the start of the year, we've been doing with the people that have been on the podcast, plus Bradley, because he made me add him.
Good get.
It's basically just we have a pick system where every week we try to pick who we think is going to win, and we can only use each driver once. You get another use of the driver once the playoff starts. You get to use them again. So that's what we do, and then we've been picking since Daytona. And an update on the scores. I'm not going to show you the screen again, but Bradley's got 6. Matt has 5, JB 4, Sal 3, Wessel, Tegan with 2, and I have 1. Not great. Not great.
No,
But I patent myself as a guy that has, I'd say, some of the best NASCAR knowledge of our group. But that's just embarrassing to me.
It's just mean you're getting beat barely by
It's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Like I had Kyle Larson at what track was it where Hamlin put him in the wall? Kansas. Yeah, I had him there, and somebody else had Hamlin. So
yeah. So we are excited. So yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen's racing the Chicago Street Course. What are our expectations for him? I don't know if you guys actually like. I didn't know much about him until they announced it, and I read up on him, and he's pretty impressive.
I could see him doing good,
especially considering
he's on even ground with everybody else. So why the fuck?
Exactly. It's the second year of this car, so there's not really drivers haven't made like an exponential like.
I don't know about that. Well, I think a lot of teams have made gains on this car compared to other teams.
Right, but I'm saying I feel like they don't have with the Gen 6, if a guy comes in late in it, the drivers are going to have such a big advantage. Yeah. But now it's kind of still new to them, and it's very similar to what he's been driving with the Australian supercars. So I
they're
think
sequential too, aren't they?
I assume so. A lot of the stuff that they did was kind of designed similarly to those cars. So, and especially with his really impressive experience on street circuits, I think that he could actually pose a pretty big threat.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And there's one of his competitors, I think is like Brody Kozneski or something, is being looked at by NASCAR teams. So could have another Australian in the Cup Series soon. I miss Marcus Ambrose. I mean, that guy, I'd say was actually pretty underrated considering what he was able to do.
What's he been up to lately?
He has a farm. They didn't. I actually was thinking about
very
that.
Serious.
I was thinking about like that the other day, and like I'll pull up the article. NASCAR.com made one like last year about them.
What is it? Where are they now, Marcus Ambrose?
Yeah. my source is Marcus Ambrose. Where is he? See, he's very happy there. That's his hand. That's another man's hand. Looks like they're probably about to connect. This guy's excited. That guy's excited. This guy wants Marcus dead. We just got an excited group of individuals here. He lives in Tasmania, which is the last major landmass southward before reaching Antarctica. And then what is he doing now? He's got children. They're racing. Wow. Where is about the farm? He said something about a farm. Yeah, he hasn't been racing. Blah, blah, blah. My parents saying, no, you have to stop and reset. And then I've closed my social media accounts, give my brain a rest. He feels like he's back to his old self. Ooh. When asked if he'd consider it, he flashes the same kind of big smile that made him such a fan favorite at NASCAR and quips, it's probably time for that 6 or 7 year itch, isn't it? I feel like if he was ever able to come back, that he could really do well.
For road racing, a road course race, he's still not.
He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing in oval.
But I'm saying, like, if you give him like let that dude him at Watkins Glen. There is not a bag deeper in NASCAR history than Marcus Ambrose at Watkins Glen. I mean, the things that he was able to do on that track and the car that he was in.
Incredible.
Like, when was the other time that Richard Petty Motorsports ever had a good car on the road courses? What he was doing, ridiculous, man.
Jay Nadeau that one year in the 44 car and fucking broke the damn thing coming through the white flag.
Well, Jerry Nadeau was actually a pretty good road racer, though, so he could carry it. Marcus Ambrose just that was a really dark, that was a bad time for RPM. Just got through the Gillette merger down to 2 cars, really not competitive. What he was doing in that car was really impressive, and I think that if he had stayed around and ended up making it to the next gen car, then I think that he could actually have been pretty good. I know he's old enough now where he probably would have retired anyway. But yeah, so shout out Marcus Ambrose. Hopefully we see him again. Speaking of that NASCAR itch, Carl Edwards was there again this weekend, and talks are flying about that he has the itch. He wants to get back in the car. I don't think we do, but do you guys think we'll see him again?
Xfinity.
Ooh,
I don't know about that one either.
I'd say it'd be for Trackhouse.
If he comes back, he's doing Cup, but he don't like the safety,
the hits, right?
The
reason why he retired. Yeah. So
do y'all think maybe something rattled him in that Homestead wreck?
I'm telling y'all, I don't think that was the only reason. I think his wife gave him an ultimatum. You get out of that car or I'm gone. That's just my opinion, because the cars were pretty damn safe then. That wreck he took at Homestead is nothing compared to what they are now.
Yeah. But still, I mean, that people were still getting concussions in that car, and that could have been one where he was like, whoa.
It was only Dale Jr., and that's because Dale Jr. was concussion prone.
I think it was a lot more than that. They just weren't saying it then.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I really think there was way more than you.
I mean, if you think about it, how many people do you think would right now in this far that we've come from it? How many? If Dale Jr. didn't speak up that when was it? 16, I think. if he didn't come up then, how many people do you think are coming out now and saying, "Hey, I don't feel like I should be in this car"?
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it now only because Dale Jr. come out and said that he drove in that car with a concussion. So NASCAR came out with a procedure to test for it. So now some of these drivers don't have choices but they're going to get put out of the car either by admitting it or NASCAR is going to find it.
My thing is, are you telling me that at 2008 Las Vegas, that Jeff Gordon didn't have a concussion after that accident? There is no way.
Did he perform well the next race?
Didn't win again that year.
How can you say there's no way? You don't know that. It's like anybody taking hits in these cars. It don't happen all the time, but it happens more.
At the speed that he hit the wall with no safer barriers,
I just don't. Unless he got out and was rambling his brains out in an interview, like they said Noah Gregson did, and Riley Herbst, I just don't think you can say that.
Bro, that one was crazy. Riley Herbst said, "Yeah, I don't really think I'm great. Like, I really hit the wall really, really hard. Like, my head really hurts right now," he kept saying. And like Bob tweeted out, like, Riley Herbst checked clear for the infield care center, and then everybody was replying, like, "Are we sure?" Because he had an interview and he just said, "Yeah, my head is hurting really bad right now." I don't. Maybe we can find it and we'll watch it. That could be fun.
Just look up interviews of people talking while they're concussed.
We got it. I wonder if you guys can hear it. This is the wrong one. Oh no, I messed up.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I didn't do it right. I have to go. Oh my god, hold on.
Hey, Tegan, go on.
Throw it at me. Straight.
Talk while I'm looking for this.
Hey, Sal, how'd your Daytona race go? I can talk.
It was going good.
Mine went pretty damn fucking well.
Oh, shut it. Okay, I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna. I don't know if you guys can hear audio. If I start playing it, can you guys hear this? Hold on.
It'll take a while for me.
Okay, Sal, can you hear this?
Herbst checked the release from the care center as well. So, perspective, what did you see out there?
I don't really know, Josh. I know that we didn't really have the fastest race car all day today. It's kind of what happens when you don't have track position. Just really struggled all day. Didn't have any speed and couldn't really go anywhere. Next thing I know, the 11's flipping off my nose, and that one stung a little bit. Just kind of a stinger from the head a little bit, but we'll be good. Get to go to Dover next week and go haul ass at a racetrack that I love. So I'm excited.
Okay, I know what everybody's looking at. They're looking at his eyes, but he does that quite often anyway.
Yeah,
it's like it's a dick.
But also, he said, "Yeah, it's a stinger right to my head. Pretty hurts. My head hurts really bad right now." That person asked me what the ABCs are. I don't think I got it right, but she let me go. Yeah, I don't know. So, is there anything else we want to talk about? Anything we missed about Nashville? As we head into Chicago, let's talk about. Is there anything else we want to talk about the CFRL? Maybe we have.
We'll talk about the Daytona race, but I don't know if it'll make anybody any happier. We do have an off week, so
we do. We're off this week. It'll be fun. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Daytona. I didn't have fun.
I did. My team did.
That's great. Talk about the playoff cutoff line.
Well, now it's pretty much decided unless we have another surprise winner. So with Fox missing, it automatically eliminates him. And with KLW missing, he'd have to show up and score some really decent points compared to the 22 or win. So who's that from? Oh, Mike. Harris and Kamal would disagree because, I let him have me at all the time.
Whoa! Shit.
We'll see if Harris is still watching. Yeah, I think our playoffs are almost just about set, unless like somebody like Sal or Matt or Trainer wins a race. So
Hi.
That's him. I've been telling Sal, like, you literally be in the playoffs if you had shut up every race this year.
Wessel was told him the same thing. Remember, his average is way up there with the races
Wessel
he's in.
probably be top 5.
Sal changes, or not Sal, Wessel changes his mind about racing just about as much as he changes his fucking underwear. So
he changed his mind about like everything. He was supposed to be on this podcast and told me like he was going to be on here, and he's not here. And
maybe he took a gum and he's shitting green again.
Maddie said he was going to be on. Where the fuck is he? Calling you guys out. Maddie's 2 dudes is 2 dead. But Matt's not here. That's right.
Tell him to take that over if he don't
This
show
is my show. Are you doing Tegan's 2 dudes? Oh,
I don't know. No. I don't know about that. 2 dudes? Oh, yes. I like threesomes. Won't be the first time.
Fucking go!
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Are we going to give you 2 dudes? Oh, jeez.
I'll take 2 dudes. I'll take these right up here above me. I know Sal's got a big one, and you keep bragging about yours. So
what are you talking about, man?
Your egos.
Right now. Wait, just open the door. What is it?
Tell me you're trying to get laid.
Oh, you got gummy bears.
That ain't the right gummies.
I don't know if it's just the right ones, but like they're.
No, those are the ones that you always.
No, they're in the packets.
No black.
All right,
I don't know how to turn this on.
It is, but it's different. You can go now.
It should be right there in the stitching, probably. I like to have your gummy worm.
All right. Why do we have to make this so weird in the last? This is after hours now.
Exactly. It's after 8 o'clock.
We're going to turn our color names to purple.
Oh, found it.
Ready for purple time? Actually, I don't want to mess it up.
That's what we used to call the sex shop in my hometown, was the Purple Building.
The one here is purple too.
It must be. And the one in Panama, the purple haze. So it must be that color. It must be a sexy color.
Really like the block before my old job, so I had to drive by it every time. It was like amazing intimate essentials or whatever they call it.
You definitely stopped in there a couple times.
Oh, definitely on my way out to work. Yeah. Yeah.
Get on the floppy one.
For sure.
A floppy pancreas.
Oh my goodness. So are we good? Is there anything we want to say?
Yeah. I think that's a wrap. Before I get more dirtier.
We need to end it quickly. Get out.
Don't let me get too dirty.
I'll really quick.
All right. To hit this music quickly. Quite frankly, we're hitting the music quickly. It's a beautiful song.
We need to get your mom in there and do that one night so she can go off on your ass on our live pod.
I'll do it when we get to the party right after this. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, Jesus Christ.